Hey guys, we're here with Radiant Clean. Today we're back at this house. We did the windows about a week ago, but they had a lot of paint overspray on the windows and a lot of water spotting. So we talked to the owner about that, and we're back to do that kind of treatment. So you can see here what I'm talking about with the water spots. It's pretty bad along the edge here, up there. And the paint overspray is largely on the second window, although there's some on some of the other ones. I forgot to film it, but we just did treat water spots on this door. I will show you a before picture. That came off pretty well. You may be asking, how did it get water spots on an screen enclosed patio? And that's because there's a sprinkler right there that it sprays on that window regularly. So, and then up here we're working on the paint overspray, and so we'll get that removed. I just started on that, but I will show you as we do that more. So I'm just going to wet down my mop. I like to keep the glass wet when we're doing the scraping so we don't scrape the glass. So but I'll show you the process when I'm up there. All right. Get the glass wet. You can see I've already scraped a little bit of it. Not sure if you can see the painted part. What I'm doing is taking a under scraper, just gently scraping the overspray off. It's probably going to take a couple passes. And you do have to be careful. These are coated windows or have UV on them. You don't want to scrape that. We do have our clients sign a waiver when we use a razor, just in case there is any kind of issue with the scraping, but you can see that's starting to come off. We'll keep working on that. We have some over there as well in that window, so I'll keep working on that and show you what that looks like. I'm just keeping the window wet while I do that. Now you can use, in some cases, if this spray is not too bad, you can use steel wool, the quadruple lot steel wool, to get some of that off. In this case, it was too much to come off with the steel wool. Or anyway, it would have taken too long. Alright, keep working away on this. Now when we're using the razor, I'm not pushing down super hard on this. I'm letting the razor just do its work. And if I have to go over it a couple times, I'll go over it a couple times, but I don't want to push down on it too much. Alright, you can see that the paint has been removed there. It's a little bit on that side and there's some over there, so I don't feel it on the surface anymore. There's still some spots on the window, but that's from the inside.
And here, guys, we just moved the ladder over and we're working on the next window over. This one also had a lot of overspray on it, so we're just working our way across these windows. It's a time-consuming process, but it's coming off pretty well.
Sometimes you can't really see the splatters, but you can kind of hear them and feel them. So, alright, let's mop that off. Let's see what we've got. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see this paint. But trust me, it's there. You do need to be careful of this razor because it is a razor and it can hurt you. And that is the paint scraping off. That's not me scraping glass. Scratching the glass. Go over that bottom part again. See if you can see that coming off. See it going under the sill as it rinses off. I'll mop that down and see what it looks like. Alright, so you can see how much paint came off just because it's washed off on the sill. Use a different towel here to get some of that off. Alright, looks a lot better. Still some spots, but I think that's on the inside of the windows. Alright, so that looks a lot better than when we started. All right, so I'm gonna keep at it. There's other windows with hard water on it. We'll show you those when we're doing it. So for the hard water stuff in the patio door, I used diluted CLR because it was so thick. And that can work on the windows too. You just have to be careful to rinse down any painted areas or metal areas so that it doesn't damage the paint. And then you can also use Bartender's Helper, the liquid kind. That has some glass safe polishing ingredients in it that will get some of this out. So we'll try it with the CLR first and see how that works, and then use the Barkeeper's Helper if we need to. So here's the water spots we're going to be working on next. I think I showed you these before. So that's pretty much all over the window. So we're going to get those cleaned up. Alright guys, you can see some of this hard water staining is pretty bad right here. So we're going to treat that, give it a scrape and a scrub. Now I've pre-wet the windowsills and stuff, so if there's any runoff on this, then it kind of waters down the paint so we don't damage the paint too much. And kind of work this in, let it sit for a minute. These frames have a lot of oxidation on them too, so this has a tendency to get the white oxidation on the window, so you got to make sure you get that off really well. Depending on how long your water spots have been on here, you may not be able to get all of them off because they do kind of bond with the window after a certain point. Bond with the glass, and it makes it really difficult to get off, if not impossible. So if you let the water stains go for a very long time, they can become permanent. Same with paint. Paint, if it sits there for a very long time, can be extremely difficult, not impossible to get off. Okay. You want this stuff to dry on here, so I'm going to rinse it off.
Ideally, I'd like to let that sit on there a little bit longer, but this is an extremely hot day down here in Florida, and so anything on the windows has a tendency to dry very quickly. So we don't want that solution to dry on there. So what I'm doing is just spraying it down with water. I'm going to give it some more scrubbing, and then we'll wash it off and see if we have to apply again. By the way, this is quadruple aught steel wool, so that's the 4 zeros. That is the finest steel wool. It's safe for glass, so that will not scratch glass. You do want to be careful, however, if it's got some sort of UV coating or reflectant coating on it, you do need to be careful with it, but otherwise the quadruple aught steel wool is safe for glass.
Sorry for the camera being all over the place. I'm going to mop this off with some soapy water. up here because I got those guys again. I'm going to scrape a little bit. There's a little paint residue in here. Scraping will also help get the hard water off. If you're struggling with certain spots. Scraping sound you hear is the hard water because it's calcium and lime.
Okay, yes, I realize this is a sloppy way to do smaller panes, but this isn't our final clean. I'm just getting the doing a clean so we can see if more hard water needs to be removed, and we'll do a more thorough clean to finish up. But so this is just an intermediary one, so no, I'm not making it perfect.
So yeah, this is looking still hard water on there. Alright, I'm going to treat these bottom windows again. This is why this takes a while. These are pretty bad.
You can see what I'm doing here is I'm spraying off the sills and frame with water just to dilute some of that solution.
Alright guys, so I got done kind of treating these twice with the spray, and then I used some polish to scrub on with a quadruple steel wool. You can see that we still have some water stains, but it's significantly better than it was. Some of those are actually also on the inside, but I don't know that this is going to get off any better than what we have right now. So I'm going to do it one more time on a couple of these spots with the razor and just see what we can get off. But these windows were neglected for a long time, so this is a good reason why you need to keep up with your windows, keep them cleaned every quarter at least, every 3 months. Good window cleaning will help keep this from building up. So this makes bad areas like this. I'm gonna try with the razor. Some of that might be permanent, so. Yeah, some of that's on the inside, some of it's permanent.
The reason I was saying that some of this is inside is because these are single pane windows, and we did notice that the seal around them was pretty bad. So these are really crappy old windows, and that water is seeping inside and actually getting onto the inside of the window. So those hard water stains, some of them are actually inside.
Unfortunately, I did a lot of that to permanent etching, so let's give these another wash down and then move on to our other windows. Alright guys, finishing up on this window job here. We are doing hard water treatment and stuff, so it took a little while. We got as much off of these as we could, but you can see that there's still a little residual there. That is what happens though when it's left on there for years. It's next to impossible to get all of it off, but you can see that it's significantly better than it was. So I had a lot of hard water stains on those corners and the bottom, so got a lot of that off. Lion's share of it off. Just about every window had paint overspray on it, so we got all of that off of the windows. So let me see how long this job took us, just to give you a sense of how long hard water stains and stuff can be. This is not a very big house, it's just a townhouse, and let me see, we've been here for 3 hours and 15 minutes just doing hard water treatment and paint overspray. So and again, there's not very many windows, so it takes a while. That's one of the reasons why it's good to keep up on it. But if you guys have any questions about how to get off the overspray, tools we were using, the chemicals we were using, leave those in the comments. We'll get back to you. Or if you have better ways to do it, always love to hear that as well. And if you are in the greater Tampa area and you need your windows done, give Radiant Clean a call. We'd be happy to help you, give you a free quote. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next job. We'll see you later. Bye.